Incremental greetings. This is Guillem Palau, also known as William Palace. Today I want to share with you something really special. At least I think that it really needs to be spoken about. And it's the cognitive dissonance. Especially on learning, you will experience lots of cognitive dissonances. I only will cover related to SuperMemo. So in this video, I will just glance quickly what's a cognitive dissonance, what you may experience, especially when using SuperMemo, the why and how, and more or less my input, my opinion on that. So let's take this visual analogy for what a cognitive dissonance is. So you have two boxers. After one, let's say the blue, it's a belief, and the yellow, it's an action. So when the action and the belief does not match, they conflict to each other. This is known as a cognitive dissonance. And this is usually, this experience is uncomfortable. It's like painful to experience that. So usually humans, what we do is try to avoid that. Usually the cognitive dissonance is dealt by just rejection or avoidance. Avoiding information is, here I detected a conflict, but don't talk more to me, I don't want to listen, right? Gotcha. Let me share my input, my opinion about cognitive dissonance on a spectral repetition software, not limited to SuperMemo. Usually, you will eventually start using Anki, SuperMemo, or whatever spectral repetition software you may encounter. And you may realize, wow, this is a game changer, right? Oh, now I can learn better, faster, forget less, and so on. And you may think you are the vanguard, you are top-notch about learning. But really the thing is that once you get more experience with it, you may, especially with SuperMemo, you may realize, oh man, I realized that I had acquired so many bad habits from school that does not translate efficient learning. Not just the formulation of items or mastering the software. It's all of those is above, transcends the software. So long story short is that I myself believed that I was very proficient, very good, back then in, I don't know, 2011 or 12, something like that. Today, if I was recording videos back in today, and I will see myself now, I will have a very strong second-hand embarrassment watching myself. Because, oh, facepalm, how can I believe I was top-notch, pretty good back then, making so many errors, mistakes, fundamental mistakes, and even paradigm mistakes. That topic is very juicy. I only will focus on the most relevant bit to convey the message for that video. And if you're new to SuperMemo or spectral repetition software today, you are exchanging opinions or reading with the community. In just a matter of time that you will have a cognitive dissonance, that what you thought it was true or it was good or the best option, perhaps it's not. And this takes, let's say, courage to accept it. As, oh, are you telling me that the 3,000 hours I spent on Anki during 6 years, doing lots of repetitions, is not a bad choice? I have kind of wasted my time because I thought that more repetitions in shorter period of time was better of recalling, right? If I want to improve my memory, long-term memory, do more repetitions. That is what the common sense was telling me, right? I had that belief, but later on I discovered that, whoops, that's not right. Actually, when you have further and larger intervals and you successfully recall, it is strengthening to recall. So actually, less is more, less is better. And now, do I have to accept that I have been doing this mistake over and over again until 4 million times across 8 years or something? A few years ago, I don't remember when exactly. That's a hard pill to swallow. But the good reading is that when you experience a cognitive dissonance related here on spectral repetition, that's a good sign. That means that you're realizing something is odd, something is off, and you are becoming better at learning. You are learning, or if you would say, phrase it as meta-learning, learning about learning itself, because you won't learn that in the school system. Most likely, if you are watching this, you may experience the coerced mandatory schooling, right? And I have so many examples that I will say that, and when, for instance, when doing events on the community, SuperMemo Wiki server on Discord, I think one of the very first days that happened to me, somewhere, I don't even remember the topic of the event, but oh man, I realized I'm making this big mistake. Now I realize, but instead of rejecting that idea, no, I will keep doing the same. Please don't speak to me. I won't listen. It's to embrace this idea, to accept and embrace this new belief. And what happens with SuperMemo and spectral repetition software or incremental reading is that it's not obvious, and it's not obvious nor intuitive. So you really need to experience it, to experience yourself, so you can understand it. And now you realize, okay, now I get it. Now I accept this new belief. I move on and learn better next time. And eventually, incrementally, you will become better and better at learning. But you will never reach perfection. Not a big deal. And now for instance, I'm doing this video because now I have the intention of doing recaps of events on the community, of what I have 3 or 4 that are very important, at least for me, that I attended in the past. And just one of the few reasons, I don't know, 1 month ago or something like that, I still experience a very strong cognitive dissonance. That is during the event is, oh man, I couldn't be more wrong than that. Now everything, I did the click. Now I put the pieces together and now it makes sense. Even though I had the solution written somewhere else in a wiki or a webpage or whatever. I knew that, but I couldn't believe because there's no instance of that. So until I didn't try it, I couldn't prove it, right? And linking elements or doing how it's called, mnemonics and so on, whatever you want, is okay, maybe language related. How I was studying vocabulary is it's very different. Let me try how SuperMemo is doing. Let me try the English collection, just for the sheer example of how it's formulated. Everything is production, and now it's okay. Now I do buy it, relatively speaking, not in the economic sense. That now I do buy the way to do it. And now it's how I do it. I changed after 11 I'm almost 11 years. I changed how I do the flashcards related to language. After hundreds of hours, if not thousands, and millions of repetitions, now I do accept that I was wrong. I'm generalizing, but because I want to further this video with details. But long story short is to embrace the cognitive dissonance. This is the path to become a better learner. With all the cognitive dissonance that I experienced and I embraced, I freed myself. I freed myself of bad habits, which translate to actions. I freed myself of false or dubious or bogus beliefs. Now I'm free. I'm more professional learning. And the takeaway message of this video is, even before you try SuperMemo, as I did 1 year or years before that I was reading before trying the software, embrace the cognitive dissonance, because it will create several of them, even on the first day. On short term, is, I was doing that with Anki or with any other software, Now, how I do this on SuperMemo? Nope. In SuperMemo, it's not meant to be used this way. No. Yeah, but do not tell me the crap. I want this solution because it's what I have been doing 10 years already. And I think it's the best possible solution. So please, cut the crap and tell me that solution. This is what you may think, I myself included. And now you realize, oh man, the SuperMemo makes it really hard to do it if it's not impossible. Not impossible, but it's really hard. Because it's really not meant to be used that way, because it's a wrong paradigm. So nothing more to add. I think I will make more videos only related to SuperMemo in this channel. My intention is to create a different, well, it was created last year. I have another channel that is waiting, pending to be started, about the schooling, experience, free learning, the bad habits, how you can get rid of bad habits, and so on.